if you're thinking about moving to Nashville, you really need to watch this video. So I've been here I've been here since 1998. Is that 25 years? I think it's 25 years. To give you a real brief history on me, if you haven't watched the channel before, moved to Nashville to work for Quest Communications back in 98. I think I started October 98. And kind of worked my way up through corporate world a little bit. I ended up being the director, founding member of another communications company here in Tennessee, which is still around, Irish Networks. And had a big corner office downtown. It was an interesting place to work back then. Enjoyed Nashville. Walked downtown, didn't think a thing about it. And just so you know, when I moved here from, I'm not originally from New York, but I moved here from New York City. So I lived in New York on and off for about 8 years as my career was much different back then, much different. But when I moved here in 98, Nashville was still kind of had that cool, different country home vibe to it that everybody appreciated. There's still some of that there, depending on where in Nashville you go. But I am trying to, 20 years, about 20 years ago, I got into the security industry. I couldn't stand driving into downtown Nashville. They had not prepared for the growth at that point. That was 20 years ago. They hadn't widened the roads enough. Still the same roads coming in and out of Nashville. There was complaints about facilities not being available. When I say facilities, power, sewer, electric, for the growth. But let's just face it, like when you have massive growth in cities, that's what happens. You have a lot of people who come here with great high expectations and great hopes, and Nashville just wasn't quite ready for it. Now, they've done a lot of amazing things. You go and look downtown and see the high rises they built, and they've done what's called high density population living, where people can move in. The rent is astronomical. People cannot afford to live here. But there's something that no one is talking about. No one is talking about really the crime spree in Nashville. And so I'm in the security industry now. We've been doing security systems, really high-end and residential security systems now for about 20 years. We had a couple customers murdered some time back ago, and we started offering firearms 8 or 9 years ago, something like that. Time does elude you when you get older. It's like, was that really that fast? Like, was that really just like 5 years ago? But we had a couple of just horrible things happen to customers, and we realized, hey, security systems are not enough. So we started offering security systems. Now we have, in Hendersonville, Tennessee, we have a gun shop, a couple locations around the U.S. where we sell security systems. So we are in the middle of franchising. A little plug for the business right there, right? We are in the middle of franchising. It's coming soon. But we really have not been told the truth about Nashville. And I'm going to go way back to when Surpass was chief of police. I don't know if he's still in New Orleans, and I didn't check up on that. But he went to New Orleans years ago. Was it New Orleans? I think it was New Orleans. Chief Surpass, it was rumored, had a great relationship with the news media in Nashville. And so at that time, they really did not discuss or let out a lot of the information about crime in Nashville. And so we had customers that had home break-ins while they were there. We had abductions in Nashville back then. We had people, they were literally tied up and gagged and held in their homes with the police intervention. Those things really didn't make the news. Now that was rare. That was rare 20 years ago, 15 years ago. There was not a lot of those types of things happening. But right now, the reason I want to talk about Nashville crime is, however Surpass laid that relationship with the media years ago seems to have permeated through the years, where they still have the same relationship, or the media may have the same relationship with crime. And I'm going to tell you about a couple of incidents where we know what has happened and what is happening, and the media is really not talking about it. And I have to speculate, right? I have to speculate the reason Nashville is not talking about it is because they're still wanting the people to draw. They want to draw people in here. You can still get a job in Nashville, although rent is astronomically high. You can still, based on the average wage, afford to live here, afford to live outside of town and go into Nashville. You know, when towns, cities get a reputation, like has happened over the years with Detroit and New York and LA and, my goodness gracious, Oakland, California, Chicago. When cities start to get a stigma or start to get that type of reputation as a city of crime, well, people go like, well, I'm not moving to Nashville. They just had 10 people murdered over the weekend. We're not going to move to Nashville. Why would we pay twice the rent there when the crime is bad? So there's a couple of incidents that I have personally been involved in that I'm going to share with you. Now, I'm not going to divulge. I know people hate this when you say, well, you won't tell us your source. In some instances, I am under a non-disclosure with other companies who are involved in the security industry, who do investigations, who do fight crime, who do work with the police, who do, for lack of better terms, I will call them psyops. We'll just call them that. It sounds cool that way anyway. But we are legally obligated sometimes not to say things about what's happened or about what we're involved in. Some of those right now are schools. And there is some money that Bill Lee has set aside. There's some money that I hate to say Biden set aside, but Biden has apparently directed to go to some schools as well. They are going to do some things to harden schools. That's a good thing, because what Nashvillians don't know is right now around 24 schools have been under a threat. And that is a threat with, it's a threat with shootings. What we had happen several months ago is an ongoing investigation. If you're sending your kids to school, it is an ongoing concern that there are some schools that are under attack, or may be under attack, or are being looked at because they've gotten some threats. That's here in Nashville. That's here in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, what I don't know if they're just copycats. I don't know the details of the investigation. That's not my place to know, but I have done some walkthroughs for high-end security systems at these schools, and I do understand that this is ongoing. That's story one. And that's Nashville, Tennessee, right? So in our security store, not only do we do security systems firearms, we also have things like stun guns and batons and knives and personal defense equipment. And there's a lot of girls that come in either in groups or with their parents, because there have been some abductions off the campuses, Belmont and Vanderbilt. Now, these are the students coming in and telling us this. And the students are saying, hey, this is what happened on campus. We never saw this hit the news, but we know that there was an abduction on campus. And apparently there's been more than one. It's been within this last year that we've had girls start coming and getting pepper gel. Pepper gel is better than pepper spray. You're standing downwind of pepper spray a little bit, you're going to get hit in the face with it. Pepper gel is a little better. It colors whoever the criminal is, pink or blue or whatever color you buy. But there have been some abductions off the campus. You don't hear about that on the news. And then there was this should have made the news. It didn't make the news. I'm just going to have to assume that it's for the same reason that other things do not make the news. But the only way that I know this happened is my son and his friends had planned to go downtown prom night 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, to go to the escape room. The thing where you go pay to get locked in, and then if you have claustrophobia, you're going to break through the walls, I guess. But you pay to go get locked in at the escape room, and then you figure out how to get your way out. They were leaving sometime early in the morning, walking down the street in Nashville. There were two groups of them. There was one group of kids, and then there was another group in front of them that they did not know. They didn't know who the people were. But they said somebody drove by, and they heard 8 or 9 shots ring out, and somebody in the group in front of them was hit. They were apparently walking beside the front of an entrance to a hotel lobby, ran in the hotel lobby, called one of the kids' parents, who then called me, and wanted to rush downtown to go help the kids. And he's asked if my son was with him, and I said, I don't know. So I tried to get hold of my son. He was not with them. He had decided to do something else. But apparently, a girl in the group in front of them was shot at least one time, maybe multiple times. That never made the news. And we have police come into our gun shop every single day. I mean, literally every single day. And we get to have discussions with them. You know, Nashville's still running really short on police force. They're understaffed. I want to say something like 100. Like they have like 100 positions available on the downtown police department, which is astronomical for a city the size of Nashville, missing 100 warm bodies that you need to go fight crime. That's another problem adding to this. And then we hear from the police, you know, our biggest problem is 14, 15, 16-year-old kids out of the projects. Some of them have automatic weapons, automatic pistols. You know, they're taking guns that are being stolen and they're retrofitting them with automatic pistols. They're getting them off the streets, but they're still having shootings in downtown Nashville that we're not hearing about on the news every day. And again, I only have to speculate that the reason we're not hearing about that is because they do not want to negatively impact Nashville's economy. They want people to keep moving here. We certainly don't want to be labeled as another Detroit, another city like New York. Like my nephew just moved back there. My daughter's thinking about moving there. I got to wonder how smart they are when you do that. That's for you if my daughter's listening. But there is a crime spree in Nashville. It's not being talked about. And if you're moving here, if you're moving to Nashville and you are going to pay super high rent and expect to be in a super safe city, I don't believe that is the reality it was 15 years ago or even 10 years ago. But we do right now have pretty healthy personal defense laws and rules. They've tried to step on the Constitution, the Second Amendment in Nashville. They've been very unsuccessful at it. However, just know this, if you're coming to Nashville or you're coming to Tennessee, you can still legally buy a gun as long as you're not a felon. Got to go through a background check. Background check can be done on site. You can usually walk out of a store with a gun in less than half an hour. And I do recommend getting some training so you don't shoot yourself in the foot or the butt of the leg. Jeff, friend of mine named Jeff, shot himself in the butt. If you're watching, Jeff, that's on you, man. It's kind of funny, kind of not. Feel sorry for you. However, know how to use what you're getting, and Nashville is still very gun-friendly. So if you're moving here, just consider. It's not Mayberry, and my goodness, we want to keep Nashville clean and safe. We need to make sure that we keep our Second Amendment in place. Hey, please like and subscribe. We're going to start giving you some ways to support the channel that no one else does. It'll help support our family, help support our channel, help support the information that we bring to you, because the government is, I believe, wanting to shut people like us down, and we want to continue to bring you good information. It's getting harder and harder. But please like, thumbs up, right? Like and subscribe, and consider where you're moving to. Nashville, I think, is still a great place, but it's not what the news is not making it out to be. Is that right? Yeah, something like that. Thanks.